Well, welcome back to Thought for the Day. It's Thursday today. I hope you're having a good week so far. This week we're taking a bit of the government's guidance about our new COVID life we've got to live with and some of the restrictions we've got to live with. And we're taking a bit of government advice every day and we're just adding a spiritual slant to it. I hope it's helpful. I hope it just gives you a little bit of something to think about as we re-emerge into normal life. And so we've covered a few things so far, haven't we? Stay at home, work from home, limit contact with other people. Well, today, number 4 is keep your distance, or keep the distance. And I don't know about you, but when we come to the end of all this, the one thing I will not miss is the 2-meter social distancing reality. And it's just crazy, isn't it? And now I watch films and I watch people sitting next to each other and I have this knee-jerk reaction of, oh no, you should move, you should move. The whole thing is very weird. It's a very odd thing now for us to go through when we see people staying near each other. But the 2-meter social distancing rule has kept us safe. And so we've done that and we've tried to do that as well as we can. I'm sure all of us have. And so it's been interesting, but it has thrown up a number of dilemmas. For example, when you're walking towards someone by a river and there's a path, who dives into the bush first and gets out of the way? What happens when you walk down an alleyway? Who has to be the one that goes back to let the other one out? Is it like who's over half? I'm sure the other day I walked towards someone in an alleyway and they backed away and let us pass. And I'm sure I saw a flash of anger in their eyes because I think they may have been 51% further up the path than we were. And of course, the 2-meter social distancing has given us what I call the COVID triangle dilemma. And that's where 3 people find themselves 2 meters apart, but stuck in a shopping aisle or around the corner of a supermarket. And they look at each other as if to say, well, if you move, you'll come close to us. If you move, you'll come close to us, and etc. And there's a kind of stalemate where everyone just stands there waiting for someone to be foolish enough or brave enough to run. And of course, the 2-meter rule has given us many dilemmas and many disappointments as well. I drove to Aldi a few months ago and I thought I'll just nip into Aldi's, they're really quick. And the queue literally was 17 miles long. I may slightly be exaggerating there. But that disappointment of, oh, this is going to take ages. And that's the life we live in. But also, there's a sense of 2-meter guilt as well. Where now, if we say, I went to see someone, we have to preface it with that, I went for a socially distanced coffee. I went for a socially distanced picnic or a socially distanced walk. Because just in case someone thinks we're taking liberties, guilt says we must say that. But that 2-meter rule is designed to keep us safe. And so it says keep the distance. And I want to focus on that word keep for a few seconds really, because really the word keep is about perseverance. The government are asking us, pleading on us to keep the social distancing. If nothing else, keep the social distancing. And sadly, some people haven't. Because actually, if we can just persevere with the 2-meter rule, actually the virus is probably not going to come back in the way that people fear. And we have to persevere. And coming to the Bible just for a few moments, perseverance is something that we find taught and encouraged across the pages of the Bible. Many of God's people face terrible, difficult challenges. And at every point, God just encourages his people. And know this is hard. Keep going. Keep persevering. Be strong in me. And I thought really, I would just encourage you with a few verses this afternoon. Because as we come out of lockdown, certainly if you come back to church, it's going to be difficult, it's hard to keep up with people on Zoom, it's hard to do the things that we know God calls us to do as Christians, but we have to be a people of perseverance. So let me read a few verses to you. Joshua 1:9, God says to his people as they enter the promised land, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Be strong, be courageous. I'm going to be with you through it all. And we know as Christians that we have that same promise, that we can be strong and courageous. God will be with us. He will go with us to the end of the age, the end of the earth. As we come out of COVID-19, we start going back to a different reality. God will be with you in the difficult times and the good. So persevere in what's good, persevere in what's right, because God will be with you and give you the strength to do it. So let me read the next verse, which is 2 Chronicles 15, verse 7. Again, God says this, "But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded." Be strong, don't give up. Some of you are serving God in your churches or trying to be a witness in your families or work. Do not give up. God will give you your reward. God is seeing what you do. Will honour that perseverance. He will be with you in the difficult days and the good ones and the easy ones as well. Galatians chapter 6 verse 9. Paul writes this: "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Let's not become weary. And there's a sense of weariness in all of this. So I don't know, some of us are just thinking, I've had enough, I want a holiday, I can't have a holiday. And the thought of going back and serving and doing things can be difficult for some. But Paul says, come on, be strong, don't give up. Do not be weary in doing good. You will reap a reward soon. In Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 to 3, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the Father, the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart." Such an amazing verse. As we come out of this and life opens itself up again, don't be tempted to give up doing good and what's right and what's worshipful for God, because Jesus, when he faced the cross, did it, persevered through it for our salvation. In the days ahead, life will be hard for everybody. The economy is going to go downhill. So keep, not the distance, but keep the faith, keep the service, keep the passion to serve God and to help those who are struggling. Do that, because we will reap a harvest one day, and God will see and God will notice. Perseverance is a key part of our faith as Christians. And let me just end by reading a couple more verses from Romans chapter 5. And this is one of my favourite parts of the Bible. It talks about perseverance. So Paul says, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us." So today, keep going, keep serving, keep praying, keep reading the Bible, keep worshipping, keep listening to God, keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what God calls you to do. People will struggle, people around you will want to give up. Show them that in the power of God it's possible to keep on going. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.